Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. Thank you so much for tuning in. So today we're going to learn about the types of research, part 4, quantitative and qualitative. So we are focusing on the types of qualitative research which are very important for the exam. And today I am requesting you to please watch till the end, because at the end of this video I have given the explanation of the last 2 community posts about previous year questions whose answers majority of you got them wrong. Yes, majority of you chose the wrong answers to the previous year questions I have posted. And as a teacher, as your teacher, I feel I have failed you and I'm trying my best to help you clear the exam. So if you want to clear the exam, it's important that you watch the video from the beginning till the end. And not only this video, all the videos I've made so far. Otherwise, you will not be able to answer the questions correctly. And most importantly, the parts where I discuss previous year questions, okay? Because that is your ticket to clearing this exam. Remember that. So let us get started. Quantitative research. So this type of research has overall got to do with quantity. So it basically deals with numbers. It is a systematic investigation of phenomena by gathering quantifiable data. So quantifiable data means data that can be measured, and performing statistical, mathematical or computational techniques. It involves collecting and converting data into numerical form. So the data collected will be converted into numbers, okay? And it draws conclusions from statistical calculations. So it makes use of statistical calculations to be able to draw conclusions from. And it focuses on fixed and measurable reality that is always precise and numerical. Qualitative research. So if quantitative research focuses on quantity, then qualitative research obviously focuses on quality, okay? It is a type of social science research that collects and works with non-numerical data. So one very important thing to note here is qualitative research is carried out in the field of social science, okay? Whereas quantitative research is carried out in the fields of, say, science or maths. Areas that deal with numerical data, numerical facts. And it seeks to interpret meaning from them. And it helps to understand social life through the study of targeted populations or places. So it gives us a better insight into the social life of the population that we are studying. It involves collecting and analyzing non-numerical data as in video, audio, text, etc. to understand concepts, opinions, or experiences. Qualitative research is used to understand how people experience the world. Focus on retaining rich meaning when interpreting data. So qualitative research focuses on how people think, on how people feel, the feelings, the emotions, the subjective experiences of the individual, and it tries to understand and interpret the meaning of the data, okay? Now let us look at the differences between qualitative and quantitative research. For qualitative research, it focuses on quality, the features, the characteristics of a phenomena or a person. For quantitative research, it focuses on the numbers. That is, it answers the question, how much? The philosophy associated with qualitative research is phenomenology. So phenomenology is a branch of philosophy that studies the lived experience of an event by the person. We'll discuss about phenomenology later in this class. And the philosophy associated with quantitative research is positivism. So positivism is a philosophical movement that is deeply rooted in science and mathematics, okay? And the goal of qualitative research is to understand and to interpret the rich meaning. And the goal of quantitative research is to predict and to test hypotheses. The method involved in qualitative research is ethnography and observation. So ethnography is the study of the cultural groups. Okay, so we'll talk about ethnography later in this class. The methods used in research is experiments or correlation. The design in qualitative research is flexible. That means it is not rigid, it is not fixed, it keeps on changing accordingly to the needs of the situation. So the design in quantitative research is structured and it is already predetermined, pre-planned. The data collection can be done through interviews and documents, etc. And for quantitative research, through scales, tests, inventories, etc. The analysis in qualitative research is done through inductive. So inductive means going from specific to general. And for quantitative research, the analysis is done from general to specific. Okay, so we'll discuss about inductive and deductive in future. Findings, comprehensive and holistic. Holistic means wholesome. Okay, it tends to look at the whole rather than in parts. Okay, and the findings in quantitative research precise and numerical. The main focus of our class today is to study the important methods and approaches used in qualitative research. Okay, so let us first look at in-depth interview. So one-to-one interview with one participant at a time. It is unstructured, spontaneous, even though systematically planned. So even if interviews are already a planned event, it is spontaneous in nature. Researcher tries to collect as much meaningful data as possible to draw conclusions. Secondly, we have focus group. So focus group consists of around 6 to 10 participants, and these participants are usually subject matter experts. And there will be a moderator in the middle to facilitate the discussion, to probe the participants by asking the correct research question. So the goal of focus group is to collect research related information. Phenomenology. So I've already mentioned phenomenology previously. It is the study of lived experience of an individual. It is concerned with the study of phenomena that arises from the experience of being in the world. The researcher attempts to understand the phenomena as experienced from the individual's point of view. So it basically studies the phenomena as experienced by the individual. I'll give you the simplest example. So let's say hypothetically you went to the planet Mars. Okay, so it's gonna be fun. You recently went to planet Mars and you came back. And I, as a researcher, want to interview you, and so I do. And you start describing how you felt when you landed on the big, red, beautiful planet of Mars, and you recount every minute of experience you lived on that planet. This is called phenomenology. Understanding phenomena from your point of view, from the person's point of view who experienced that phenomena, who lived that experience. Okay. Ethnography. So ethnography, it comes from the word ethnic. Ethnic means connected with a particular race, religion, or community. Okay, so it is a systematic study of individual cultures. So when we say ethnography, just remember it is the study of cultures. It studies the values, beliefs, behaviors, language, and other such cultural aspects of a distinct group or community. And it is an in-depth form of research where the people of the concerned group or community are thoroughly observed in their natural settings. So I'll give you an example. Let us say you are a researcher from Punjab, and for your PhD, you want to conduct an ethnographic research on the community of Meitei from Manipur. Okay? So you want to do a research on the community of Meitei. You might have to come to Manipur and you have to live with this community and you have to observe them thoroughly in their natural settings, that you have to live with them, you have to eat with them, you have to sleep with them, you have to basically become one with them in order to understand their culture more deeply. Right, so that is how you learn their cultural practices for better insight, and that is what we call ethnography. Grounded theory. So it is a research method concerned with the generation of theory which is grounded or founded in the data that has been systematically collected and analyzed. So grounded theory basically means it is the theory that you generate from the data that you collected, not from other sources. You collected the data on your own, and you generate a theory which is grounded in that particular data that you collected. The theory is generated only and only from the data collected in the study, not from other sources. It is used when there are no existing theories or limited theories regarding the area of interest. So, when there are no existing theories, when there are very limited theories in that area of interest, that is when we use grounded theory. A silly example I've given here is you developing a theory about why school students become lazy during summer breaks. So your main aim is to collect the data, and then you come up with a theory founded or grounded in that data that you have collected, you have gathered. I'd like to add a couple more important points here. The central purpose of GT is to study the experience of the participants. So why is it important to study the experience of the participants? Because that will help you tremendously in developing the theory, and that's basically how you're going to develop the theory also. The theory that is grounded in the data that you've gathered from them. So it is crucial to gain a rich description and a deep insight into the participants' views, knowledge, perceptions, and understanding of their experience. Triangulation. So it is the use of more than one method or multiple methods or data sources in a research to develop a comprehensive understanding of a phenomena under study. So if you employ more than one method or you use more than one data sources, okay, not one but more than one, then that is triangulation, because that kind of helps the research. You're able to develop a more better understanding, a more wholesome, a more comprehensive understanding of the phenomena or the people or the population under study. And it assures the validity of research as it involves a variety of methods and sources coming together at one point to provide a clear picture of the concerned topic. Case study research. So we are very familiar with case study research because we have already gone through this topic in one of the previous videos. It's mostly used to study an entity, an individual, a unit, or an organization. It's considered to be one of the most valuable qualitative research methods, and it involves deep digging into the developments and collecting data concerning one individual or social unit. So case study research will always provide you an in-depth understanding of a particular unit or an individual. Okay? Naturalistic inquiry. So in this type of research, the researcher tries to describe and understand human behavior as it occurs in its natural context. So here, naturalistic inquiry is not experimental. It is non-experimental. What's done here is the organisms are observed and studied in their natural settings. Okay, so there is no manipulation of the environment here, and hence the word naturalistic inquiry. The research is naturalistic to understand the social world in which the researcher observes, describes, and interprets the experiences and actions of specific people and groups in their natural contexts. Narrative research is the type of research that explores the life of an individual or more through the stories narrated by the concerned individual or individuals. So the key word to note here is stories. Okay? Stories as narrated by the concerned individual. Always remember this. Narrative research systematically gathers, analyzes, represents people's stories as told by them, often in a chronological order. Chronological order means the correct order of a timeline. Okay? It focuses on the participant or participants, the nature of the story, and interprets patterns of meaning. Which of the following represents the distinctive feature of qualitative research? Perspective-based, inductive and meaning-giving, hypothesis-based, deductive and testing, inductive-based approach and generalization, deductive inquiry with focus on theory and hypothesis being tested. The answer is number 1, perspective-based and inductive and meaning-giving. An investigator wants to study the functioning of a school meant for tribal children, and the most appropriate research design for this context would be classified as tribal children. The researcher wants to study the functioning of a school meant for tribal children. The key word here is the tribal children. So we are focusing on a distinct community or a distinct group, right? So our answer will be 4, ethnography. Which of the following research designs is the most appropriate for depicting lived experiential realities? So remember, phenomenology, it talks about the lived experience of an individual. So I think you already know the answer. It is phenomenological designs. Which of the following research designs utilizes data from individuals, autobiographies, and personal talks or discussions? Grounded theory, narrative, research design, case study, or ethnographic? So the key word here to note is autobiographies. So what is an autobiography? It is basically a life story of a person narrated by that person himself. So our answer will be narrative research design, as narrative research design focuses on the stories narrated by the concerned individual. Okay? Blank assesses the sufficiency of the data according to the convergence of multiple data sources or multiple data collection procedure. The answer is triangulation, because it talks of the convergence of multiple data sources. Now let us match the following types of research with their respective descriptions. Okay, so we'll start off with phenomenology. It is number 4. Analysis of qualitative data to provide an understanding of a concept from the perspective from the participant's perspective. So we're talking about the participant's point of view, right? So it is phenomenology. Ethnographic research will be number 1. Analytical description of a social group related to shared beliefs, practices, and behavior. So we're talking about culture here. So if you study the options, our answer will be 4. But let us match the remaining types with their descriptions. Okay, so grounded theory is sophisticated analysis which links participant perceptions. So as I've already told you, in grounded theory research, learning the participants' perception and views and understanding of their experience is crucial. Okay, and a naturalistic inquiry is prefer inductive reasoning from grassroots observation and discovery with an emergent design. So, naturalistic inquiry tends to be unstructured. Okay? So, as the research goes on, there is this tendency for new ideas, new concepts, new findings to emerge. Okay, so emergent design is the ability to adapt to those new developments as the research is happening. Okay, so our answer will be 4. Which research tool is befitting for phenomenological researches? Questionnaire, interview, conversations, self-report. So at first glance, you might think the correct answer is interview, and you're not wrong. It is interview, but if you study these 4 options, then the most appropriate tool is self-report. So our answer will be self-report. So since phenomenology means the study of lived experience of an individual, the self-report is a report prepared by that participant himself, giving a detailed account of phenomena he experienced, and it can be more reliable than interview. Which of the following methods of data collection can be considered as an attempt to map out or explain the richness and complexity of human behavior by studying it more than one standpoint, using both quantitative and qualitative? So the key word to note here is more than one standpoint. So our answer will be triangulation. So we have another match the following. Case study. It is an analysis, the results of which are not generalizable. So whatever findings of this case study are, they cannot be generalized. They belong to that particular individual or organization under study. Okay, so it's very particular and cannot be generalized. Phenomenological research is number 5. An analysis to provide understanding of a concept from the participant's perspective. So we are talking about an experience from the participant's point of view. Ex post facto research. This is the research investigating the implied cause and effect relationship already evident. It has already happened, okay? Naturalistic inquiry. So this is field research using spontaneous and uninterrupted data collection techniques. So naturalistic inquiry, as you know, is very spontaneous, it is unstructured, and it quickly adapts to the emerging new developments and ideas and concepts as the research is happening. So our answer is C. Last question. Triangulation is a method which involves the use of 2 research tools of identical types, 2 research tools yielding different outcomes, 3 research tools measuring different aspects, or 2 or more than 2 research tools. So I'll leave this question to you. I'll not answer this. So just type the correct option along with the question number in the comment section, and best of luck. So the question was a previous year question asked in November 2017. An investigator uses 2 matched groups to compare effectiveness of 2 methods of teaching science. It was a typing mistake, not 3, okay? It should be 2. 2 methods of teaching science. The study would come under experimental study, not causal comparative study. Causal comparative study is ex post facto, okay? Remember? As you see, if you read the question, the investigator uses 2 matched groups. Matched means identical. So the 2 groups would be obviously control group and an experimental group. There will always be 2 groups in an experiment, control group and an experimental group. If you remember, I have explained about experimental research in my previous video. I will link it in the description box. You can go and check it out, okay? So anyways, moving on, the investigator is experimenting with what? 2 teaching methods. He is experimenting with some teaching methods, okay? Teaching science, could be teaching English, maths, whatever, on these 2 matched groups. But most of you chose causal comparative study, which is wrong. Ex post facto is what? It is the research which is conducted only after the incident has occurred. So ex post facto has got nothing to do with this question. This question is an example of experimental study because it is obvious from the question that the investigator is experimenting with teaching methods. He has control over the whole experiment. And if you remember, there is nothing called experimentation in causal comparative study or ex post facto research. Our correct answer is experimental study, not causal comparative. Which of the following types of research can be called as a small-scale intervention in the functioning of the real world with an intent of a close examination of the effects of such intervention? Our answer should be action research, not case study. Okay, so action research, why? So in action research, you will frequently encounter this word intervention. And what is intervention? Intervention means to interrupt something, maybe to help the situation or maybe to improve the situation. Intervention is the process of taking action on the strategies and activities that have been planned during the planning stage of action research. So I've already taught you about action research in one of my previous videos, and if you want to learn about it, then I'll link it in the description box below. So if you remember, there are 4 processes to action research: plan, act, observe, reflect, right? So in this planning stage, there are already some strategies, some activities that you have already planned. So intervention is carrying out those strategies and activities that you have planned in this stage to conduct the action research. Sometimes you can call action research as an intervention process to solve immediate local problems and improve the situation. For example, let us say in a classroom, you are facing a problem regarding a particular topic, and the teacher tries to solve the problem by maybe asking you a question or maybe conducting a short experiment or something like that. So that is called intervention. That is called action research, because the teacher wants to solve the problem that you're facing and improve the situation, the classroom situation. So the answer should be action research, not case study. Case study is an in-depth understanding of an individual or an organization. So we have come to the end of this class. If you found this video useful, then please leave a like. And if you have a question, leave a comment. And if you're new to this channel, then please hit that subscribe button and share this video with your friends. Anyways, see you next week. Take care. Bye.